If you are pregnant or you've recently had a baby, this podcast is for you. I am your host, Kath Bequee, a physiotherapist working in women's health and mum of three. Inside my online program, Fitness Mama, I just love helping support women to care for their bodies during pregnancy, prepare their bodies for birth, and support their after-birth recovery, helping them feel confident and strong inside out during this important stage of their lives. In this podcast, join me each week as we dive into all things pregnancy care, childbirth, and postnatal recovery, helping you through every step of the journey. It is absolutely possible to feel amazing and confident in our bodies during this motherhood journey, and I want that for you. Come and say hi to me on Instagram @fitnessmama, and let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Fitness Mama podcast. Excited to chat today because this will be perfect if you're pregnant and you're keen to return to running or the gym or CrossFit, or perhaps you've had your baby and this is on the horizon for you. So going to discuss 3 tips to help you return to running post-birth. And when I say running, I really am just using that term, but you can interchange that with any higher impact exercise, gym, CrossFit, anything that involves some jumping, running sort of activities. It could even be perfect for you if you just want to get back to playing tiggy with your children, having the confidence to be able to run across the road with your toddler if you need to, to have that confidence that you're not going to leak, you're not going to hurt your body, you're not going to get injured. So we're going to discuss 3 quick tips for you. Before I do dive into this episode, I am super excited because kickstarting in just a few days at the time of recording is our Return to Running workshop. So in December, inside Fitness Mama, it's all about returning to exercise, returning to running postpartum. I'm going to give you weekly tasks so that it is super easy to implement, and I trust by the end of this month, you're going to feel like you've really taken your afterbirth recovery up to that next degree. So whether or not you're just starting your returning to running journey, or you need a bit of incentive, perhaps a bit of motivation to go take it to that next level, we're going to focus on easy exercises that you can do to support your core, your pelvic floor muscles. We're really going to work on that inner strength, build you inside out so that you can return to running successfully without getting injured. So if you do want to join us, head to the link in the show notes. If you're listening to this episode after the event, this is always Inside Fitness Mama, so do come and join us. But December is this is our focus month, Inside Fitness Mama. And there's actually a free 21-day trial in the link below the show notes, which means I don't usually offer that. That's not available on the normal website. Usually it's a 7-day trial. But I just want this information to be accessible to all women. Like, it's so important. As a physio, I would often see so many women in the clinic who had already developed issues. They might have had aches and pains, or they might have had leaking when they started their running journey. And so often they'd say to me, "Oh, I wish I had known this sooner," or "I wish I'd done something about this sooner." So this is why I'm offering this free 21-day trial, because I wholeheartedly believe what we're going to be doing in December is what all women deserve, what all women need after having a baby, whether or not you're a runner or not. Like, we all need to help these muscles get stronger they've just been stretched, whether or not you've had a vaginal or a cesarean birth. So much has happened to our body, physically, mentally, hormonal changes, lifestyle changes. It's a lot. So anyway, click the link in the bio and I'd love for you to come and get that support to help you feel amazing in your motherhood journey and recovery. Right, let's dive into these 3 quick tips. Okay, first tip to return to running post-birth. It actually starts in pregnancy. So if you're pregnant and you know that you want to recover after having a birth, don't wait until after birth. Don't put it on the to-do list, because there's so much that you can do during pregnancy to not only help with your pregnancy journey and to help with birth and your after-birth recovery, but to help with those long-term outcomes. And I know, like, as having had 3 children, how during pregnancy, perhaps it's morning sickness, perhaps it's aches and pains, perhaps you've got a toddler, perhaps you're working full time. Like, there's a lot of reasons why perhaps our pregnancy fitness and strength, it falls a little bit down the bottom of the to-do list, and I totally get it. But if you think that's you, but you do have grand plans for your after-birth recovery, have a think about what is easy for you to do in your pregnancy. What would be easy for you to boost up how much activity you're doing? Like, is it that 10-minute online program to do at the end of a long day? Or is it going for a little walk around the block? So what would fit into your lifestyle that could just help you to start to build upon that pregnancy strength and fitness? Okay, second quick tip, and you've probably heard me talking about this a lot, but it's to honour those first 6 weeks, even 12 weeks after birth. And I often say to my clients and members, you've got the rest of your life to get fit and strong again after having a baby, but those first 6 to 12 weeks you can't get back. And you could be the strongest woman in the world, but it's not just your muscles that have stretched, it's the fascia, the connective tissue, that soft tissue, it's all stretched. And if you think about that elastic recoil, like a rubber band that's been stretched, we really want to let that natural recoil to occur as much as possible, whether or not it's the abdominals that have been stretched, your pelvic floor, whether or not you've had a vaginal or a cesarean, there have been changes to your body, hormonal changes as well. So we want that natural recoil to occur. So I don't care if you're the strongest woman in the world, what you need in those first 6 to 12 weeks is rest. So I don't mean resting all day every day and putting your feet up, but for example, bursts of horizontal rest. Start off with those short bursts of walking. It's not the time to be getting into massive strength training. We really want to allow that natural recovery. If you're interested to learn more about those first 6 to 12 weeks, do scroll through a few of the podcast episodes, and I'll even link a few below, because I've done a few more lengthy podcasts where I really dive into those first 6 to 12 weeks. But it's also those first 6 to 12 weeks, beautiful bonding, like we're sleep deprived, our body, I'm talking about it from a physical perspective, but those first 6 to 12 weeks in terms of healing and recovery from a mental and psychological and that whole transition, like the matrescence side of things, becoming a mother, super important. And I do have to admit, I didn't do this very well with my first baby. I had the baby, I'd been strong during pregnancy. I was like, yeah, I had a good birth, I can do this. And I ended up doing too much in that postpartum recovery. And I felt it. I noticed it. I had prolapse symptoms when I'd never had any issues before. And that really, it was a bit of a turning point. And the second baby, I did a bit better. Third birth, I really had to submit to that first stage of motherhood. And I can honestly say, along with other things that I did, but it was the best recovery out of all. And I really do put that down largely to doing less in those first 6 weeks. So as I said, you've got the rest of your life to get fit and strong again. Let's just honour those first 6 to 12 weeks and do things sensibly. Okay, the third quick tip is to not only commence a gradual return to running plan, but include your pelvic floor, core strength, all those important foundations and building blocks. And hopefully you've been been working on those building blocks before you return to running. So I often see women who they might have been given the tick of approval, the medical clearance, they've reached the 12-week magic mark and they suddenly think, yes, I'm 12 weeks postpartum, I feel good, I had a good night's sleep, I'm going to go for a run. But that, I know I've said it a lot, but really I recommend that first 6 weeks, really rest, gentle walking, gentle pelvic floor, functional exercises, get your medical tick of approval, then 6 weeks of building up, and this is what I offer inside Fitness Mama, building up your strength, building up your core, building up your balance, building up those foundation, those building blocks, and then you start to sprinkle a return to running plan on top of that. Now, my opinion, and it might be a bit controversial, but I do believe the couch to 5 kilometre, you can often Google couch to 5K run plan. I think that is too fast for postpartum. I think that sort of time frame is fine if you're coming from no injury, no issues. And although childbirth isn't an injury as such, I actually think we need to treat it as an injury. And that's why I'm so passionate about postnatal rehab. We rehabilitate sport injuries really well. We rehabilitate after having a hip replacement, after surgery. But we don't, as a general society, rehabilitate after childbirth. And I argue that our body has been through more with childbirth than ACL reconstruction. I might have some people disagreeing with me, but I do think our body goes through a lot. So my opinion is that couch to 5K run plan is too fast, and we actually need to spend more time focusing on those building blocks and build it up more gradually. So with that note, if you would like support to successfully get back into running, gym, CrossFit, anything higher impact, do come and join me for this 21-day free trial. So it's free for 21 days. Whole of December is Return to Running Month inside Fitness Mama. You can choose after 21 days whether or not you want to continue with us or you can cancel. We all know that returning to running takes longer than 21 days, but if you would like support, do come and join me. You've got nothing to lose, everything to gain. So that's it, ladies. 3 quick tips to help you return to running post-birth. First tip was focus when you're pregnant, if you can, if it's not too late and you've had your baby. But do focus on your pregnancy wellness, your fitness. Just have a think about what can you add to your lifestyle if you need to add something to help with that holistic wellness and strength. And your pelvic floor and core muscles during pregnancy is super important. And again, this is something we offer inside Fitness Mama. Second tip was to honour those first 6 to 12 weeks postpartum. Lots of rest, horizontal rest, getting the gravity, all those gravitational forces away from those pelvic floor and core muscles. And then the third tip was to start a gradual return to running plan, which includes the pelvic floor, core strength. So don't just do running and walking. We really need to enhance that running plan with all those other things. So that's it, ladies. I could keep talking on and on, but I wanted this to be a lovely, quick episode. So do click the link in the bio to come and check out the Returning to Running exercise program inside Fitness Mama. Otherwise, thanks for joining me. Come and send me a message on Instagram @FitnessMama. If you're loving these episodes, a rating and a review is amazing because it's the only way that this podcast can reach more people. I don't run ads to the podcast, so it really does rely on that word of mouth, and a rating and review helps with the algorithm and it helps it to get shared with more people. Thank you. I will see you next week for another episode of the Fitness Mama podcast. And December is super exciting. It's all about preparing for birth. So we've got some brilliant guest speakers lined up. If you know someone who's pregnant, get them to tune in December. That's it, ladies. We'll see you soon. Have a great week. Thanks for listening to the Fitness Mama podcast, brought to you by the Fitness Mama freebies found at www.fitnessmama.com/free. So please take a few seconds to leave a review, subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and be sure to take a screenshot of this podcast, upload it to your social media, and tag me at Fitness Mama so I can give you a shout out too. Until next time, remember, an active pregnancy, confident childbirth, and strong postnatal recovery is something that you deserve. Remember our disclaimer: materials and contents in this podcast are intended as general information only and shouldn't substitute any medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. I'll see you soon.